I believe we've been sold a lie that better tech implies less human interaction. You see, there's this tension in recruitment that the more tech you've got, the less time you have to spend with your line managers. And in today's episode, I'm going to prove to you and share with you how the best recruitment teams I've worked with optimize their time by introducing technology. Let's start with a problem statement. I believe that recruiters have become managers of workflow instead of relationship builders. If we think of the traditional flow and the outcomes of recruitment teams, we are seeing pipeline obsession with volumes, obsession with busyness, always scheduling, always managing diaries, always coordinating logistics like boardrooms and interviews. But that is a problem. Tech and the enablement and introduction of tech is supposed to free up our time. But instead, if used incorrectly, it has added dashboards, it has added data, it has added metrics, it has added intense amounts of administration. And the pressure is now on moving faster instead of moving better, looking for ways to optimize and introduce information in a simplistic way that is actually going to free up the time of the recruiter. We didn't just remove the admin, we digitized it. You see, what great recruiters actually end up doing is they spend time understanding people. They spend time interacting with candidates. They spend time challenging hiring managers on elements like job profiles, minimum requirements, interview guides, their assumption and bias around candidate profiles, candidate answers, video interview answers, psychometric assessment answers, the quality of a CV. They are using the information that gets given to them from the technology to, on an interpersonal level, engage and interact with their stakeholders. Recruiters, when they get this wrong, when they get this backwards, are just going through the motions, kind of in a reactive state from an administrative perspective, just following through the steps, ticking the boxes, not applying judgment, not thinking clearly. Here's the good news if you're a recruiter listening to this podcast. You get given multiple data points that enable you to apply your judgment, data points that enable you to challenge the status quo, to challenge conditioning, to think deeply about what this data point means, what it means for your line manager, what it means for your stakeholder. And so great hiring decisions don't necessarily come from just adding more data. They come from better interpersonal skills, better conversations. And so the hypothesis at the moment is that the more tech you have is not supposed to add your diary, fill up your diary. It should free up your time to have these better conversations. You know, I've seen two fantastic examples of great recruiters doing this. The first being a recruiter who can spot potential where others miss it. And this is often a dichotomy, a tension that exists between recruiters and the hiring manager. The hiring manager naturally believes that they know best. Okay, and I've worked with hiring managers inside Whamley, outside of Whamley. I know this, right? So if you can spot potential where other people might miss it, that is a great example of interpersonal skills, applying your judgment. The second great example is someone who slows down, wait for it, a bad hire instead of rushing through it to meet a metric. Because we're obsessed with time to hire. We're obsessed with getting and cleaning up our pipelines. But if you can slow down a bad hire, imagine the impact you have on the organization from a cost perspective, from a hiring decision perspective, from an onboarding perspective, and eventually a performance and a retention perspective. The best recruiters aren't necessarily the fastest, they are the most intentional. Now you might be going, Fran, whoa, you're the owner of Whamley, a tech company. Absolutely, I'm not throwing out technology. I'm just trying to challenge and help you understand the balance of where your time should be spent and when the tech is serving you. So if we reframe technology, what should it be doing? It absolutely, number one, should be helping you with automation. I've said in previous episodes, scheduling, coordination, scoring, managing your pipeline, those automation elements are absolutely critical from a technology perspective. Secondly, the structure of how your information is presented and digested. So good tech should speed up how you structure your information, how you look at candidate data, the profile of the candidate, all the information and elements. In Whamley, we have all the data points on one screen. That is an example of how to structure your information. But then secondly, from a note-taking perspective, from a scorecarding perspective, from a reporting perspective, how information is digested and how it is presented is absolutely the role of the tech, because all of that used to be manual. It used to fill up your diary, and now this is freeing up your time to be more human. The point of the technology is to remove friction. The friction that you have in your life daily as a recruiter, you must go and deeply evaluate and then go and understand where are these friction points and what technology can you introduce to help you remove this friction so that it can free up your time. The core idea here is not for tech to replace your judgment, to replace your intuition, and to replace your decision making. Those are still very much human elements that we have the privilege, that we have the opportunity to apply in our daily roles as recruiters or talent acquisition teams, where we have AI or technology as our coworker, and it enables us to do these things. If your tech isn't giving you more time for your own mind and time with people, perhaps it's the wrong technology. The most common metrics in the world of talent acquisition starts with time to hire. And the question here becomes, are we rewarding speed over quality? Do you, at the end of your day, feel that you've accomplished your task if you manage to work through your pipeline, if you got to clean up your pipeline, if the thousands of candidates came in with all filtered and screened out by you and moved along? If that is your only metric, I want to challenge you on the quality of the work and the quality of looking at the candidates. And if this speed obsession that we have to satisfy line managers, our own KPAs and KPIs, is not overriding the opportunity for us to spot talent and quality. The second obvious metric that we're all concerned about, especially from a commercial perspective, is the cost of a hire. Okay, so the ROI, what is it costing us to make a hiring decision? And we often go to cost immediately, especially if you're paying an agency or if you look at your subscription of technology. But have you ever considered, or at least underestimated, the cost impact of a good hire? If we go slower, if we focus on quality, if we do incur costs, what might be the multiplying effect of making the right hire by going slightly slower, focusing on the quality and getting the right person in the business? Inevitably, that person should perform well, but from what you can measure in the hiring process, that should be a good hire if you hit the right marks. And then ultimately, this person should perform and they should generate a much higher ROI than getting the decision wrong because you went fast. And then the third metric is how many candidate profiles that I look at. Okay, so if we think it very basic, CV screening. Does activity equal outcome and quality? And the obvious answer is it does not. We should not care about our busyness. We should not care about our feeling of being inundated, but rather carefully consider, am I being busy with the right things? And how is technology enabling me to actually go slower so that I can go faster with better quality, better insight, better intuition, better decision making, and better judgment when I consider the data presented to me in my tech? Imagine we could reframe for a second 4 different metrics to look at in talent acquisition. First being the quality of hire. Now here you would need post-hire data like performance management data, engagement data, job satisfaction data, culture and environment fit data. If you are able to gather those 4 data points and correlate them with your hiring decisions, we can look at the quality of the hire as opposed to being obsessed with speed only. Secondly, candidate experience. I speak about this so often. The candidate is the consumer. They buy your products. They are brand ambassadors to your organization. They are the voice, the external voice of your business. And so you should be obsessed in measuring the experience of the candidate going through your journey. And if you are using technology, this should enable you to do that, to get a true metric. Think of it as an employee net promoter score, an ENPS, around the experience of the candidate. Even if they aren't successful in the role, they are still going to speak about the journey and potentially want to improve themselves and come back and reapply to your organization. The third new metric is the hiring manager's confidence in you. Now let's just sit with that for a second. Imagine a metric in your KPA or in your JD during your performance management review around The hiring managers that you serve, your stakeholders, is confidence in your ability to fill their role. Not just your speed, the quality, the intentionality, the relationships that you build along the journey, the interaction and stakeholder management that you apply towards the candidates as well as the hiring managers and the rest of the business. That is fundamentally different to just focusing on outcomes and output and busyness. Because during this, you are also building your interpersonal skills. You're also leveraging your intuition that I spoke about often and a lot now in this episode. That beautiful magic that you're able to craft while dealing with these candidates. I saw a screenshot the other day from a client showing me an unsuccessful candidate thanking the recruiter on how they dealt with this person during the journey and how personal it felt for them, linking back to our previous metric on candidate experience. So, hiring managers' confidence in your ability to fill the role. And then lastly, your depth of insight, not just throughput. I deeply want to challenge the talent acquisition and HR recruitment audience here. Our job, your job, is to be able to make judgment, to make decisions, to challenge hiring managers, to challenge data, to actually apply your mind. We get in this rut, this 8 to 5, just sprinting through all the tick box exercises and all the tasks we need to get to, and we don't stop and think. There's this incredible book, Time to Think. And I want to challenge you during talent acquisition and recruitment to stop and consider the depth of your insight, your judgment, your decision making, and what is the value that you are bringing to the conversation. Especially in the interview, the physical interview. Your job is not just to coordinate that interview, print the interview guide, and make sure the line managers give you feedback. Challenge them. Deeply immerse yourself in the experience. Combine the data points that you have of the candidate. Ask open-ended questions, challenging questions to foster conversations and actually force your line managers to not just go with their intuition or their gut or who they liked or the data that's presented to them, but to bring all of that together. That is the beautiful opportunity and role that you get to play from a metrics perspective. There's this beautiful saying, what you measure becomes what recruiters optimize for. The desired outcome that we want should be the outcome that we measure and reward. So carefully consider what you are optimizing for and if that is actually what you want and what the organization wants. And if not, challenge yourself and challenge the organization to change the behavior. The challenge with recruitment is not just a process problem. It is a decision-making problem. How great decisions are made come from not just technology, but also human understanding. So it's not just about better systems or more technology, but how you combine and use the technology as your coworker to free up your time so that you can be more human and interact more with your stakeholders. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, is your tech making you a better human in the world of work or a less of a human? A less present human, a human that's always chasing, always running around, always hiding behind the busyness, okay, the hustle culture. Think carefully about that because the future of recruitment is not less human. It is more human, enabled by better tech. Can you please go and like, subscribe, and even leave us a 5-star rating? If you have any questions around how to create the ultimate end-to-end hiring solution, head over to whammy.io so that we can help you hire better people faster. Catch you next time.